Hello and welcome to Control Alt Wow AprilPvd. This is episode 875 entitled You Get a Server and You Get a Server. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026, and Power World has got me totally. In fact, I haven't played any No Man's Sky at all in the past week. Although there is some talk about the new update called Cosmos. I haven't even been following it. Now, one of the things I really like about Power World is that you can create your own dedicated server on your computer. It's an app that is installed on Steam when you install the game. And I'm fascinated by it because you can play the game in single person mode. And that's really fun. And, you get to learn a lot of the same things. But the dedicated server is just a more static thing. And of course, I've been playing it with my alts. And I can go through my different Steam accounts. I can log out of one Steam account, log back into another Steam account, start up the dedicated server, and still have access to the same resources. And using my laptop, I can play multi-box, and we'll talk about that more in the show. And I can also bring in I can use the multi-boxing to add my alts to my guild. But one of the other things you can do with a dedicated server is play with other people. And it's almost like being on a shard in World of Warcraft, but this one you have more control over. So I am going to be talking in this episode about the server that I am renting for $14 a month. And I got to play with Granegas. So sit back and relax and enjoy my tale of Pal World. And hopefully next week we might have some information about No Man's Sky. I was so excited that after last week's episode of Control Alt WoW Final Fantasy XIV, Granegas said that he wanted to play Pal World with me. And so I tried to get him to join my dedicated server. I thought I had set up everything so that he would be able to join. There's a whole bunch of stuff about port forwarding, and it didn't work. And so we weren't able to play on Tuesday. I fooled around and read some other things about it, but then I came upon something about a paid dedicated server. And at first I was like, do I really want to get hooked up on this? Is it going to be a scam? Is it going to really work? But I tried it, and for $14 a month, and this was just a test, I was able to get a server that on Wednesday we both joined and we were able to play together. It was really a lot of fun. We played and I think 6 hours. I know we played 3 hours, and then I took a break, and then I came back and we played for a couple of more hours. Grand Nagus kept on playing. We got to, I think, level 12 at one point. We set up a base. We worked together. We leveled up the PAL box. It was really, really a lot of fun, and it worked seamlessly. Everything we did together. Once we set up a guild. I think it's called Caw Guild, and Grand Nagus is the guild master. And it was so much fun. We were actually talking on Zoom, although I'm going to try to figure out a way we can talk in the game, because although I was streaming it, it was hard to hear Grand Nagus's voice in the stream. But I'm really glad I tried this. Like I said, I was a little bit wary of it, and in the long run, $14 a month isn't that much if it allows me to have a server that people can join us and I'm not exposing my system to my home system to outside forces. Plus, this will allow me to keep my dedicated servers for my gameplay. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. The thing is that you do have the option of turning it on, pausing it and starting it and pausing it, which is nice because I was worried about that on my own dedicated server. I talked about this last week that I accidentally left it running, and then I came back and all my pals were all upset. Some were depressed. One of the humans had an ulcer. So, it'll be nice to be able to pause it when I need to and let it go when I don't. We actually even went into a dungeon together, which was great. And it took a lot of work to figure things out. And it was nice that we could talk on Zoom. So I am looking forward to, we're going to be playing again on Sunday. And I just want to give a shout out to Grand Negus for joining me in Pal World. I logged in on my main dedicated server on Thursday with AprilPvd. And the first thing I do is I go around and check to make sure everybody has food and that they're all doing something. It's really a lot of supervising, but at the same time, you are trying to get mats so that you can make things, and it's really a lot of fun. There's a lot of different places to look, and there's inventory to keep track of, and I really enjoy the whole mechanics of this game. I do need to get my storage a little bit better organized so that I can find things quicker. The best thing would be for me to set up specific storage with specific rules, and that might be something I'll do in the next few days. So this is AprilPvd, and she is at the base in Ctrl Alt Wow's dedicated server. And this is the top of her house. This is the base. And right now she's breeding. And I just wanted to show you what it was like for me in VR. I'm using the third person because I find that easier because I can see the HUD. The first person, I don't see the HUD as well. And this just makes me more comfortable. But at the same time, I am still 100% immersed. Look, I am in this world. I'm just controlling my character from a different angle. It does make for some difficulties, especially with shooting. Like, for instance, okay, now I'm not going to shoot, but I'm going to aim this. This is a gun for grappling. Oops, shoot. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, here we go. So, and I got my egg. So I was setting these two guys up to make an egg. Not enough cake, so they can't breed. I don't have any more cake. I need to make some more cake, but can I take the egg? Yes, and now I'm going to take the egg and put it over here in the egg sequencer. And again, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can watch the video, and I'll try to put appropriate screenshots. This is going to take a half an hour. Now, I just want to give you a tour. Now, I'm in the middle of, and let me show you the map. Just a second. These are all my machinery. Oh, but the one thing I do want to do is I don't have any cake, so now I'm going to unassign those two guys from the breeding farm. I'm excited to find out what kind of egg I get from them. So I'm unassigning them. And now we're going to go look at the map so I can show you where I am on the map. I know there's an easier way to look at the map.
But I have put my base right here at the edge of this. It's kind of a beach. I like it because I'm down by the water. Now, the other thing I want to show you is that I am running an expedition. It's a half an hour, so I got a few more minutes. I got about 25 more minutes. This is my beach. I haven't explored that facility over there yet, but I have made just a little balcony here, and I've made up these stairs. I've made a bedroom. I still have a lot to work on this, but this is my bedroom. And I even made a bathroom. You can't use it, but at the same time, it is kind of cute. You know, because one of the things I like about VR is that I can build things, and I am really enjoying, just watching my pals do things. That one's growing tomatoes, that one's doing some logging, and I do have one other thing I need I can assign them to certain things, but not everything. Oh, I know what I can do. But I just wanted you to see this is me in, and I'll put a screenshot in the show notes. This is me in my in AprilPvd. She's got a cute outfit on. She is now level 28, and yeah, I'm really liking her and liking what she can do, and I'm liking playing the game. So this has been a lot of fun playing Power World in VR. There's a lot to get used to, but I am getting used to it, and I'm learning a lot of things, and I'm loving the VR part. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my base, and yeah, I'm happy.
Trying to stick to a schedule so that every day before I play Power World, I like to record what I did the previous day for the podcast. This way, the information that you're getting is fresher in my mind. What I was doing before was just taking notes and then trying to read through my notes all at once when I recorded the day I would publish the podcast. But I think this works a lot better. So I'm back in on Thursday and I'm looking at what the group of pals in my base can do and kind of checking off some of the things off of the pals that I need to do specific things. It's an interesting concept and it's a lot of things to learn in this game. And some people might find it tedious, but I find it very interesting. I learned a lot yesterday. One of the things I did was I have two cooking pots. One is an advanced one, and if I set it up right, then my pets will feed themselves. So what I have to do is make sure that when I set up some food to be cooked, that it says that it's going to be carried or can be carried by the pals back to the food chest. They'll store it there. And one of the things I had to do on the food chest was to make sure that I only allowed it to store food, because if I allowed it to store ingredients, they would eat the raw ingredients. Now, the problem with eating the raw ingredients is that they will not get as much nutrients. And that one little coded thing called SAN, that gives them their sanity. So you want to make sure that the food has enough SAN to keep them from going crazy and to keep them working productively. So I had one of the fire pits working to make food for me, and I had unchecked carry the food back, not realizing that it would somehow confuse them and they wouldn't carry the food back from the next one. So I came back after going in to try fighting fighting the original tower again to see if I got anything extra. And when I got back, my pals were starving, so I fixed that part. And it's a learning experience. And I had a lot of fun doing other things. I went out and caught a lot of pets, and I also fooled around with the pet compression machine, which allows you to take a bunch of different pets and combine them to make your main pet even better. And it's really a cool system because it makes you go out and capture more pets, and while you're capturing more pets, you're also leveling up. And that's two of my focuses right now are to level up my character and level up my base. I'm at the point where my base cannot go another level because I have to level up enough to access the things I need to level my base up. This brings us up to Friday. I got back on Aprillian, and it's so cool because she has access to the things on the base that AprilPvd has built up. At one point, I swapped back and forth so that AprilPvd could make her a better shield, and AprilPvd had upgraded her outfit and put the one that she took off that was better than what Aprillian had, and she put it in her chest, and that way Aprillian could retrieve it along with the good shield. I thought that maybe Aprillian was now ready to run the second tower on her own, but she did it about 3 times, and each time she ended up getting killed. I don't know if it was because her pets weren't fast enough or her bow wasn't fast enough. So after the third time, I decided that I would multi-box. And it was an idea that I had going around in my head for a while because, I used to do that all the time in World of Warcraft. But there was a big difference. In World of Warcraft, you could actually run 2 copies of the game on your computer and alt tab between the two of them. And there was a slash follow command that would allow you to, just have the second character move and run behind you. So that whole mechanic was a little bit easier. There's no follow on Power World, and I would have to run it on different computers. Fortunately, my laptop is near me. So I logged into AprilPvd in VR and I logged into Aprillian on the flat screen and had them go into the dungeon together. So this was my first time dual boxing and I was very, very nervous. The most important thing that was really bugging me was that I was not good at controlling a character on the keyboard and mouse. Or the keyboard at all. I just didn't know all the right keys and stuff. So it would be harder to fight. But AprilPvd was somewhat stronger. So I had that much going for me. And she had some good pets. So I had that much going for me. So when we logged in, one of the things I should have done that I have done in previous battles was to move Aprillian out of the way. But instead, I just went ahead and had her release one of her pets, and I went to fight. And then within 30 seconds, Aprillian had died. So I didn't know what was going to happen, but I ran over and noticed that something had popped up on my screen that said press A. So when I went over to Aprillian, AprilPvd was able to revive her and then release another pet, and I just went fighting on AprilPvd, going through my pets, getting out the best ones, and we ended up taking down this boss. And it was great because Aprillian will get XP and her pets will get XP, and it means that I might be able to fight even stronger bosses in the future. And the interesting thing about being able to revive a teammate, I wonder if it's just in the towers, because I do remember when I died in the dungeon with Grand Nagus. I think maybe he didn't know which button to push, or if the thing didn't pop up on his screen, because I wouldn't have noticed it if it hadn't popped up on AprilPvd's screen as well. There was a button that said that I could give up on Aprillian screen, which I think she would have spawned. So I was worried that if she didn't come back, would she get credit for taking this tower? Because AprilPvd had already completed the tower. But we got it down. It was very exciting. It brought back so many memories of fighting bosses in World of Warcraft. I had to keep moving on AprilPvd, and we took down that boss, and it was great. And I can't wait to try it again. Now we're up to Saturday, and of course, I did my workout in VR. It was my normal routine, 2.7 miles with 6,698 steps in 1 hour and 56 minutes. It was a little bit longer than usual because HoloFit has these challenges where you have to compete these different activities for each month. It's something different, and it makes me stay on the elliptical a little bit longer, and I push a little bit harder. It's another advantage to VR. I actually got a new hat for my avatar, so that was kind of nice. And then I hopped into Venus because it was the second Saturday of the month, which means that I did the Zenith cosmetic craze. We had a nice turnout and it was a lot of fun. I try to play characters that don't already have the cosmetics. I ended up pulling out a mage that I hadn't played in a while. There was another mage there, and I was telling her how the mage in Zenith is my least favorite type, mainly because it's so hard to hold my arms to shoot. She said even harder than the blade, and I said, "Oh, I love the blade because and with the blade I'm moving, slicing and hitting, and uh and I'm actually getting exercise." And then of course with the ninja, I'm using my bow and arrow, and it feels like I'm shooting a bow and arrow. The mechanics in Zenith are so good. But of course, my main focus was on Pal World. The whole time I was working out, I was thinking of different ideas I wanted to try. Like, I'm going to have to eventually get to my original base, which I haven't been using, and tear that down because I want to either build a base next to my current base or build a base a little bit further out. When I finally logged off of Zenith, I immediately jumped on Aprillian because I wanted her to do some exploring like I had already done with AprilPvd, because eventually they're going to need to get to to the next tower, and I'm going to try dual boxing them again because I enjoyed that so much. I ended up exploring even more with Aprillian, but I didn't find the third tower. She did level quite a bit and ended up getting more pets, and she got enough so that she was able to do the second expedition. When I tried to do the second expedition on her at the base, it wouldn't let her start it. But once she had gone out and gotten some more pets, and she got a whole bunch of pets, she did a bunch of 5 pet things. So she got some of those effigies so that she could increase her speed and increase her capture rate at that statue. She also got some milk so that I could make cake. I need to make cake to breed, which I have a breeding farm and I breeded one I still have to figure out exactly what I'm doing. There's so much to do, and there's so many levels of doing it that it's amazing. I got her one of those cute antler mounts, and she was able to ride that around. And yeah, Saturday was a really good day for playing. I ended up playing VR. I want to say at least 7 hours, maybe more, because I did an hour before the Zenith, and then I did an hour and a half in Zenith, and then I think I did 3 more hours afterwards. So I had a really good day on Saturday. On Sunday, Grand Nagus and I worked together on my dedicated server that I pay $14 a month. It's not that bad. It'll be fun. And, I think I mentioned that I decided to use it instead of trying to open up a port into my home network. And it worked really well. We had a lot of fun. We working on our bases. We started out with one and now we have two, and going through all the different quest lines together is really nice. It's just like being back in World of Warcraft. Grand Nagus had played before during the beta, I guess it was, and so he had a lot of information, and I learned things, and he learned things, and it was just really good to play with another person. And I'm looking forward to the next time we get to play together. We took down some bosses. We got some new pets. We learned how to put the right pals into our bases, and we got to a point where one base that we had made, Grand Nagus picked the perfect area, and we had to pull out the biggest pals because we were getting raided right after we put the base down, or not long after we created the base. So we just put in the best and biggest pals, and they were able to fight off the raiders. And yeah, we had a lot of fun, especially once we both got mounts and we were able to ride around. And the best part is when either of us died in a battle, we could revive each other. So that was kind of neat. Monday, I took Aprillian out because I wanted to get her a little bit more leveled up. And she actually opened up some areas that AprilPvd had not been to. She also went a little bit further, and I realized that the map was opening up for both her and AprilPvd. And she also noticed that she was getting closer to the marker for the next quest line, which was to find out more information about the next tower. Now, we had done 2 towers. The towers are dungeons where you go in and fight one boss, and then we have run into other dungeons, which are more like dungeons in World of Warcraft, where you run through and you gather stuff up and you fight things. And there's also a couple of places where there's just a portal in the middle of the area, and you go in and there's just one boss fight in there. Oh, I just want to apologize for my voice. I seem to be coming down with a cold, and I know I sound awful, but I just want to talk about Pal World and how much I have been enjoying this game. So I got Aprillian to that point where she now has opened up the next quest line to get to the tower. But I logged off, and then I brought in AprilPvd so she could go out there and do the same thing. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of, I love doing quests. I love following the breadcrumbs, and I love figuring this out. And we also leveled up on both characters and opened up some more things on our bases, because as you level up the base, you get all these different things that you need to build for the base to level up your PAL box, which right now I'm at level 13, and I've got to And I've got 2 bases and like a bunch, like 12 pals. And I'm doing the expeditions as well, which brings in a lot of good mats. And I'm also leveling up my PAL learning, which is really important. The PAL learning it gets you things like making faster for you to make things. There's also some things about it for the expedition. And I have gotten to a point where I can make some different resources. So I'm went back to my original base and I tore it down, and now I'm going to try uh, in next week's episode to build a base specifically on as a resource base. I'm also upgrading all the beds, and I'm doing some making cakes so I can mate my pals. And I think I'm gonna close out now because, as you can see, I sound awful. But I'm loving Pal World, and I hope you get to play it and enjoy it as much as I have. If you're listening to this on the podcast, on the audio version, there is a YouTube version under youtube.com/controlaltwow. You can find the screenshots in the show notes at controlaltwow.com. And you can email us at controlaltwow@gmail.com. Thanks. Bye now.
Yeah.